Session 6, Faith Informed Clinical Identity and Practice Presentation by Katrina Walters, Colorado Christian University, Empathy Training, Block B, CMH-613, OB72, SP22. Coins instructor. Date is April 10th, 2022. Empathy from a Christian worldview. What is empathy? Empathy is the ability to take the place of another, to stand in their shoes, and to feel what it's like and make it better. Empathy from a Christian's point of view incorporates coherency, scriptures, and many examples, which all fortify the idea of what empathy is, how we possess it, and how we can show it toward one another. Empathy from the Bible, particularly the New Testament. To fully encompass as well as show empathy, an individual must be kind, loving, caring, and considerate toward another person. All of these characteristics and attributes can be found in the New Testament. In Galatians 5:20 through 22 to 23, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things, there is no law. Empathy is biblical. What I can learn about empathy from the Bible is that it takes the fruit of the Spirit to be effective. I must be true to my convictions of kindness and compassion when interacting with others. It is not enough just to sympathize, but to really place myself in the shoes of that individual and to make them feel like I truly care. Just in the same manner that Christ shows his care for us. Ephesians 4:32. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. Here are a few biblical examples of great empathy. Number one, examples of great empathy are shown throughout the New Testament scriptures. One example is the woman with the issue of blood, from Matthew 9:20 to 22. She was an outcast in her own town because of her issues. Due to her excessive bleeding for 12 years, she was marked as unclean. The woman believed that her faith was enough to heal her. If she could just reach the hem of the garment Jesus wore, her notions was correct, and Jesus healed the woman, showing great compassion and empathy towards her. How about the example of the two blind men? In Matthew 20:29 through 34, as Jesus and his disciples were leaving Jericho, they were followed by a large crowd. Two blind men on the roadside heard Jesus passing by and cried out to him. They cried out saying, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on us." Even though the crowd reprimanded the two blind men for shouting, they insisted, and they continued to ask for mercy. Jesus heard their cry, asked what they needed, and healed both with his great compassion and empathy. Their sight was restored, and they followed along. Or what about feeding the 5,000? We remember in Matthew 14:13-21, when Jesus tried to retreat for some alone time, he was followed by the multitude of people needing healing. Many of them were sick and seeking Jesus to help them. From his place of solitude, Jesus helped the people that were sick, even until the late evening. The disciples were concerned, and he saw it getting late and urged Jesus to send them away so that they can buy food and eat. But Jesus kept them there and performed the miracle. With 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, he fed all 5,000 men, women, and children, and had baskets of food left over. A time for empathy. One of the most significant moments can be found in John 11:33-44. It shows us a great, significant moment of empathy displayed by Jesus Christ. Lazarus was already dead for 4 days, and his body started to smell of death. All that the friends of Lazarus could do was cry. Jesus, being moved with empathy and compassion, cried with them. The weeping woman and the friends of Lazarus petitioned Jesus to do something, as they saw his previous miracles of the 2 blind men. They knew that he could help Lazarus, and he did. He called forth Lazarus from the dead, and he lived. This is the most significant act of empathy displayed by Jesus to another individual. How does faith impact my empathy? Having faith in God and in the scriptures has impacted my empathy in a great way. Believing in God and what he says through his word helps me believe in the greater good of others. My faith helps me to be optimistic in my outlook on life and on people. Because of my faith, I am more compassionate with people. Faith has also given me patience with myself as well as with others. In 1 Peter 3:8, it says, "Finally, all of you be like-minded, be sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate and humble." Neuroscience and empathy. Neuroscience and knowing how the brain operates in empathy is very important. Along with all of the biblical references, a strong relationship and foundation with God, neuroscience